The clatter of dishes echoed through the empty penthouse apartment. I stood frozen, staring at the shards of glass in my hand. The remnants of Mr. Holden's favorite whiskey decanter lay scattered on the marble floor, sparkling under the soft glow of the lamp. Around me, my colleagues milled about in various stages of panic. The weight of our secret, our escapade from the previous night, pressed down on me, heavy and suffocating. It hadn't been supposed to happen like this. Our plan, hatched in a moment of collective insanity, had been simple. Sneak into Mr. Holden's apartment while he was away. Have a bit of fun, make it look like we barely touched a thing before he returned. In theory, it was harmless. In practice, well, we'd managed to break a vase, lose one of Mr. Holden's bespoke suits, and transform his pristine white couch into a patchwork quilt of spilled wine and popcorn. But it wasn't those things that terrified me. It was the decanter. I'd smashed Mr. Holden's prized possession, a symbol of his wealth and impeccable taste. How could I, a lowly office worker, have been so careless? What do we do now? Someone whispered, their voice tight with fear. He'll fire us, another said, their eyes wide with panic. I looked around at their stricken faces, feeling a surge of protectiveness. These were my friends, my co-workers, and yes, we'd made a mess, but we'd meant well. We just wanted a night of freedom, a break from the drudgery of our routines. I met their worried gazes one by one, finding strength in their shared fear. We clean it up, I said, my voice ringing with newfound confidence. And we make sure it never, ever happens again. As the others scurried around gathering supplies, I lingered by the elevator, my mind racing. I needed a plan, and fast. Replace the decanter, fix the couch, find Mr. Holden's missing shoe. It seemed impossible, but I had to try. What would Mr. Holden do in this situation? How would he solve this crisis? The answer hit me like a bolt from the blue. He wouldn't even realize what had happened. My boss was meticulous, yes, but he was also supremely confident. If he couldn't see the problem, it didn't exist. But how could I replicate his cool composure? I took a deep breath, attempting to channel Mr. Holden's unflappable demeanor. Time to put on my big boy pants, literally and figuratively. The next hour was a blur of activity. The team worked with the precision of a well-oiled machine, cleaning, replacing, restoring. By the time Mr. Holden arrived, his penthouse looked as though no one had ever trespassed, save for a faint stain on the carpet that even he might have missed. I watched from the elevator as he entered his domain, inspecting every corner with his usual hawk-like gaze. Relief washed over me when he didn't pause or question or call us in for an explanation. As the days passed, the memory of that night receded, replaced by the hum of routine. I'd managed to fool Mr. Holden, but I hadn't fooled myself. I thought about him often, wondering what he'd say, how he'd react if he knew what we'd done. But his silence became a comfort. Maybe he wouldn't fire us. Maybe he'd understand that we'd only meant to have a little fun. Maybe he'd even share our secret with a smile. Then one evening, as I left the office, I found a note slipped under my door. Curiosity piqued, I opened it, my heart sinking as I read the neatly typed words. Meet me in my office tonight. Come alone. My mind reeled. Had he found out? Was he going to fire me? I hesitated for a moment, then straightened my shoulders and headed toward his office. He sat behind his desk, his expression unreadable. The sight of him always brought a strange mix of emotions, admiration, respect, maybe something more, but tonight, fear dominated. I entered cautiously, closing the door behind me. "Daniel," he began, his voice betraying no emotion. "I haven't called you into my office to talk about your work." He paused, letting the gravity of his words sink in. Then he leaned forward. "I know what you did last night." His eyes locked onto mine, boring into my soul. "I know you went to my apartment." A wave of relief, so intense it bordered on dizziness, washed over me. He knew. But instead of anger, instead of threats of termination, he was curious. There was a hint of amusement in his eyes, and for the first time since the debacle of the broken decanter, I smiled. "Mr. Holden," I started, but he cut me off with a raised hand. "Please," he said, and for a moment, just for a moment, he looked younger, less severe. "Call me James."